tucking into my hearty Israeli style breakfast before I hit the Dead Sea and then pack and hit the trail again. So one of the good things about the hotel that I finally found is that it's literally right across the street from the beach. A lot of them are right on the beach, but one or two have a situation where they are advertising a free shuttle to the beach. Like, really glad I didn't get one of those. And yes, we are behind schedule, but the sacrifices that I make for my loyal and trusty followers. Alright, so let's find a spot to put my stuff. And then let's see if we can't put this debate to rest for once and for all. Am I floating in the Dead Sea or on the Dead Sea? You be the judge. It's 8:30 and the temperature in the sun, I don't know if you can see that, is 33 degrees. Great. Okay, well, let's do this thing, and in the process, let's hope to God that I don't drop my phone in the water, because that would just be really, really bad. Almost as bad as dropping it down a canyon. Well, maybe equally bad. Okay. Whew. Okay. It's quite lovely, a little bit cool, because I'm not used to it yet, but pretty lovely for the most part. And so now, whoa, I'm going to suggest that, okay, let's get a little deeper here. Not quite deep enough yet to give you a proper demonstration, but I will try. Okay, I'm just up to the top, about my rib cage, middle of my rib cage in water. So here goes. I'm going to suggest that this is floating in the Dead Sea, and this is floating on the Dead Sea. In the Dead Sea, on the Dead Sea. And yeah, here my toes can reach the bottom, so it's not really, kind of cheating a little bit, but yeah, so same thing, floating in the Dead Sea, on the Dead Sea. Yeah, I say that's very much on, not in. And you weren't supposed to see that. You were only supposed to see my beautiful, perfect tan. Yeah, my hiking clothes are doing a good job of keeping the sun off my stomach. Anyways. So, what do you think? Was I floating in the Dead Sea, or on the Dead Sea, or both? And I didn't even drop my phone. Nice job. Okay, so next is the mud. And what is the mud? Well, the place I usually go in En Gedi, it's a spa, and I think it's actually included in the price, because they have these massive buckets of the stuff, and you just reach in and grab it and slather all over you. But Ein Bokek is more of a resort town, and it's got public beaches and stuff. So here you have to actually buy the stuff. And what you do is you slather it all over yourself, and I see some people just slather it over themselves and then go wash it off, which is not the point. You're supposed to slather it over yourself and then let it dry on you for about 20 minutes, then go wash it off. That has a better impact, effect, whatever, on your skin when it dries, and I guess that's what pulls all the impurities out of your skin. And it's really cool. Your skin feels so soft and silky afterwards. Love it. So we're getting there, almost done. Normally I would slather it all over my face and my scalp and hair as well, but I'm on a tight schedule right now, and that stuff is really, really hard to get out of your hair, and I don't have time. I don't have scissors. I'm sorry. No, it has a thing. Bags of mud. Hard to open. Unless you have the right kind. So anyways, I am on a tight schedule, and I don't want to have to waste my time trying to get this stuff out of my hair. I have got some of it already into my hair, but I don't want to get it all over my scalp, and then like literally it'll be in my scalp for the next week. And especially since I'm going to be in the desert, who knows how long before I get a real good shower. And I don't have time to take that kind of a shower before I check out and hit the road. So we're just going to let this, put on the rest of this and let it dry. And then we'll wash it off and feel really nice and silky smooth. So I couldn't show you because I didn't want my phone covered in mud, but it dries to a kind of nebulous gray color, and you start to feel like you're being encased in cement, and that is when the magic happens, I believe. And really it takes about 20 minutes, and then you take a shower or you go in the sea and you wash it off. I didn't have that much time, so I gave it about 10 this time, but I'll be back in a few weeks for some R&R, and then I'm going to do it good and proper. Alright, so I'm checked out and on my way. A little bit behind schedule, but I guess that's par for the course. Next challenge. I'm actually feeling good to be on the road again in a sense, but yeah, it's very mixed feelings. That was so nice to just take some time for myself and be good to myself, but it's time to go. And the next challenge is going to be trying to catch a lift in the direction of what I believe is a rather religious community on Shabbat. Good luck. What this means is that I'm trying to cut my hike in half for today, because again, it comes back to what I've learned about my body and what it needs, and how it needs to work up to this kind of thing. So that's what we're going to try. First thing is I need to try to get my hair organized because it's not right now. So I need to find a piece of shade for that, and then I'm going to try and catch a lift. Hair fixed, and now it's time to catch a lift. I break out in a sweat trying to fix my hair at the best of times, trying to do it in a 45-degree humidex. That's another story entirely. But anyways, so there is absolutely no shade on this side that I need to hitch on. So let's hope that I get a lift quickly. Let's see, somebody's coming up. Nope, they went around the roundabout. Okay. So if you're trying to hitch a lift in Israel, you need to know something. If you're on the Shvil. So the sort of North American standard for hitchhiking is you stick your thumb up. I think because of movies and everything else, people would probably, and because of the context, people would probably understand that here. I don't think it's anything rude that I am aware of, but the proper way to hitchhike in this country is to stick your index finger out and point towards the road at an angle. So, kind of like, well, all the cars are going in the wrong direction right now. Kind of like that. So let's see if this car comes my way. Nope. Full house. Alright, well, that was a full house. Gotta wait for somebody else. But anyways, so yeah, so just to show you again, you point down with your index finger, something like that. I'm going in the wrong direction now, but you get the idea. Nope. Try again. There's a couple cars coming now, so let's see, maybe one of these guys. Well, that was a fail. I stood there for about half an hour and 20 minutes to half an hour and didn't get a lift, which may or may not be good or bad, I don't know, but on my experience in the north, when I did get a lift, I got it pretty much right away. So I really didn't want to do this because it's pavement walking along the Dead Sea Promenade, which is actually quite beautiful, mind you, with all these flowering bushes and the Dead Sea beside me. But my feet really don't like this kind of thing, so I was really hoping to avoid it, which I can't. But it's only about 2 kilometers to the highway, and I'm hoping I'll have better luck on the highway. Well, we'll see about that, I guess. Alright. Oh, that is so weird. How did those trees grow in the Dead Sea? Do you see that? I wonder, that may mean that the water levels are up here like they are up north too. I won't know until I get to the spot in Getty, because I don't know how low or high the water levels have been down here. But of course this is the south part of the Dead Sea, and they're actually different, sort of really 2 separate sections, so I don't know if the water levels issues are the same in the 2 sections. I know that in the north section at En Gedi, there's been real problems with receding water levels, at least were last time I was there. But that was a long time ago. That was over 10 years ago, so I don't know if that's still a problem. Alright, well, I've screwed up yet again. I missed the turn off because I was assuming that it just continues along, the Shvil just continues along the promenade. But no, it doesn't. It takes a dirt road somewhere back there, and I'm not going back there, to get up to Kvish Dishim, which is up there. And I'm not walking up that hill at 11 o'clock in the morning in a 45-degree humidex to get to Kvish Dishim. So if that means I have to walk to Neve Zoha, then I have to walk to Neve Zoha, but I'm not doing whatever that section of the Shvil is. I'm not doing that. I'll walk it on the highway if I have to, but I'm not going to go and climb over whatever I would have to climb over. So my first order of business is to go find a washroom. Oh yeah, and where I'm going to find a washroom is, I'm actually right within about 500 meters, 100 meters of the beaches at Neve Zoha. Sorry, not Neve Zoha, but Zoha Hot Springs. So somebody here has got to have a washroom that they'll let me use. And then somehow, I don't know, somehow I'm going to have to get up to Kvish Dishim. Yeah. Well, it took a while. Interesting. Tourists are not very helpful people. But anyways, finally an Aussie guy, some really nice Aussie guy, as I was basically given up on people and had started to climb that hill. I guess he had mercy and pity on me because he saw what I was doing, and he stopped and he he was off to the gas station, so he drove me down, and I saw the Shvil marker just as we passed right by. At first the highway situation didn't make any sense to me, but I looked at the map, and it's kind of funny where I think the Highway 90 would go straight. Highway 90 actually changes to Highway 31, and Highway 90 turns off. So very strange junction, but that's how it goes. I think I know where the Shvil is now. It's just a little ways that way. We went a little bit past it to get to the gas station, but he brought me back because he was going back to Zohar. So I'm gonna go find me my Shvil, then I'll find me some shade for a break, and then I'll try to get to my night camp in time. So the Aussie guy, who, by the way, was not a tourist, he was somebody who works here. And he's actually worked in Canada. He works in, I don't know, the drilling industry or something. So, so he dropped me off, not quite at the trailhead, but under the shade of that tree where we chatted last time. Then I walked back up to about maybe a couple hundred meters to the trailhead, and then I've been going down the trail looking for a place of shade, and I grabbed the first sort of decent spot of shade I found. There was one sort of lone tree earlier, but this one is like a tree and a bunch of bushes, so just feels like a better spot to sit. And yeah, I barely got started today and I'm already stopping for my break. But so I'm sitting here, and all of a sudden I'm kind of hidden from view a little bit, but the dirt road goes like literally just right there, and there's a dirt road coming from just further over there too, and I'm just sitting here minding my business, and all of a sudden, literally, I don't know, 7 or 8 or 9 Jeeps, 4x4s of some sort, just came out of nowhere and are going into nowhere. So that makes me feel a little bit better about the hike today, because it's, as far as I can tell from the map, it's on the dirt road all the way, on some kind of dirt road, most if not all the way, the rest of the way to the night camp. So I'm feeling really good about that. There's a little bit of a climb, about 100 meters, and but it's not very steep, it's just a gentle climb. And yeah, I have about 10 kilometers left, which is what I had calculated, what I had planned for. And it being on the dirt road, that's fairly good conditions as long as I don't have the worst heat of the day, so I'm waiting for that to cool down a little bit. I should be okay. The other thing that has really helped has been I've taken some more time to look at the maps from time to time. I have been looking at the maps from the start, but perhaps not with the attention that maybe I should have. And like, reading a map is an art that, you know, in general I'm pretty good at, with like road maps and stuff, but these kinds of maps are topographical maps, and it's a bit of a different story learning to read the topographical, you know, the lines and everything else. The other thing that really doesn't help is that even with the maps on my phone, I can't get them magnified to a point where I can actually read them without my reading glasses at this point. How bad is that? So that's not really helpful. I mean, I can read them, but like, to get the real detail in terms of the differences in height and stuff like that, is that kind of detail I would really need my reading glasses for. And I have them with me, but it's just a pain to have to bring them out. So I haven't been doing that. Now, obviously, if I was about to get lost and die in the desert, I think that would be the next move to make. Oh, and looks like somebody else is coming down this way too. On a dirt bike. So it is rush hour in the Judean desert. Oh, another dirt bike. I don't know what's going on. Oh, a bunch of dirt bikes. I don't know what's going on over here, but it is definitely rush hour in the Judean desert at the Dead Sea, in the middle of nowhere. Oh well, I'm feeling better. I've been able to evaluate my situation, and I do think I can make it to the night camp and in time before the sun goes down and to find my water cache. So I am feeling much better, and even if worst comes to worst, I think I have enough water so that if I have to wait till the morning to find my water cache, I can probably do that. So in fact, I can pretty definitely do that. So I'm feeling much better. I was kind of panicking a little bit earlier. This is hard. There's no question this is hard. And I mean, I guess on some level, if it wasn't hard, it wouldn't be worth doing. And the reward will be great at the end, for sure. But wow, so many emotions and ups and downs and good times and hard times. And before I forget, saunas. I take back everything I've ever said about saunas on the Shvil. There are lots of saunas on the Shvil. They're all in Ein Bokek. And you don't even have to go off trail yet like you do in Tzfat. You do have to be prepared to pay a pretty penny to stay at the spa or the hotel, but there are saunas on the Shvil. So there you go. Who knew? Yep, just taking a break. I've figured it out that if I leave here at 1 o'clock, that should keep me out of the worst heat of the day. It'll still be hot, but that'll be the worst heat of the day gone. And I should be able to make it into the night camp before the sun goes down, hopefully. So that's the plan. I'm just waiting out the heat, and it's actually quite lovely here right now in the shade with a little bit of breeze. And I noticed some fire ants. So just hoping they don't get in my pants. I just had a sweet little piece of insight. You know, we find it so easy to criticize, especially people who've grown up with the Bible and the story of the Israelites and Moshe, wandering through the desert for 40 years, grumbling to God. And you know what? I think I have a whole new appreciation for them and kind of understanding of what they felt like and what they were going through. And I haven't wandered through the desert for 40 years. I'm just approaching 40 days. And a large chunk of that I haven't even wandered at all, or in the desert for that matter, when I have. So it's not to say that they were right, because clearly God was much more visible and tangible to them in those days than he is to us today. So I can sort of understand why he would be upset that they wouldn't trust him. But at the same time, with all the grumbling and complaining and getting upset and panicked and angry and cussing that I've been doing over the last 40 days. Yeah, I kind of understand those Israelites a little bit. Just a little. But on that note, I do have to stop to look at the view. Look at that. Oh, there's a bush in the way. Alright, well, just look at that. So yet again, I have to take back something I just said. I said that God was more visible and tangible to the Israelites back in the day, the ancient Israelites. And I think maybe in some ways it was true, but in some ways I think he's much more approachable to us today. So I think he chooses to reveal himself in a different way that, sometimes I think ultimately it's the same old story about learning to trust him, because he's not going to just stand in front of us and let us touch him, because I don't think that's the way he operates. So, anyways, that's my thoughts on that for now. And Julie, there's some inspiration for you. How's that? I made it to Wadi Lot campground. That's this right here. It's basically a bunch of boulders setting aside, marking an area where you can camp. So I'm actually making pretty good time. I might be walking a little too fast, but back there you can see Ein Bokek, where I left from this morning, and I'm going to find a little bit of shade and take another little mini break, since I actually made it in the time I had given to myself to find this place. But what I don't understand is it's called the Wadi Lot campground, and camping here is strictly forbidden if flash floods are expected. Those flash floods must be pretty darn big, because this is I don't know if you can see beyond my umbrella here. It's a pretty large, wide open area. So I imagine the floods would come from over there. And this is still pretty wide and large. So they must, it's interesting. I wouldn't expect it to be a danger in a spot like this. But all the more reason why this area is so dangerous. And you really have to be careful, especially in the winter, when there are rains further north. And maybe even still in the spring, all of which are times when flash floods can be expected. And I found this shade in this, like the shade of this rock, some kind of sediment rock. Look at those layers, it's really cool. And it is so nice and like literally cool in the shade of this rock. So I'm just gonna sit here for a bit. I think I met my goal for this little stretch, so I deserve a little break. Very short, but a break anyways. All right, there's some kind of a dune-buggy park over here because there's all kinds of dune buggies going through right now. Those guys were really nice. They were quite surprised that I'm doing the Shvil Israel alone, all of it in one shot. And they were quite concerned that I have enough water because I still have 3 weeks to go. And I said, well, I do for today, not for 3 weeks. So they were like, okay, good, take care. Really nice guys. And they were just happy that I'm actually meeting people along the way and stuff and not really just completely alone, which of course I'm not. There are other hikers out here. So haven't seen anybody today, but I still expect to. I'm sure somebody will show up. So anyways, I said I was going to take a break. So time to take that break. All right. I should mention as I sit here and contemplate, take my stuff off since I don't need it right now. So I said Ein Bokek was over there. You can just see one of the hotels through the trees. But the section of Shvil that I skipped today goes up and, okay, I think on the camera I'm pointing higher than I should be. It goes, let me see, where am I pointing here? It goes up, and about halfway up, there's like a little plateau about halfway up that mountain. This way. And then comes down and joins further back down. So I don't know if it goes up the plateau. It certainly goes up that little ridge there and down the other side. And my knees are very happy that we didn't take that. I'm also very happy that I didn't finally in the end have to climb that road to get to the Highway 90. And really glad for that little Aussie guy who picked me up and gave me that lift. I didn't even catch his name. So if you ever happen to stumble across this video, thank you so much, mate. It looks like I found where those dune buggies were congregating. Don't know what they were doing back there, but somewhere back there they were doing their dune buggy thing. And I've had no Shvil markers again for a while. According to the map, the Shvil goes straight, and the map and the directions go straight and into this Nahal, which narrows. So I'm basically going on that basis, but it would really make me feel a lot more comfortable if I had seen markers along this way. So moments later, I did find the markers, and sure enough, I took the wrong road further back there where there was a fork in the road and no markers. So there you go. Again, I could have gotten supremely lost. And here are those 4x4s that passed by me earlier. I've been looking at that funky round mushroom-shaped rock from way back there. And from further away, it actually looked like a perfect circle. So I thought it was like just some kind of a man-made marker. But now I'm here. As I got closer, it actually looked like a head. So I thought maybe that was something that was supposed to remind us of Lot's wife or something. I'm guessing it's not made of salt. But in any event, closer, it doesn't really actually look like a head anymore either. But it's just a really, really weird rocky bulb that I don't know what it means. But all these cliffs, yeah, sorry, I was showing you my umbrella. All these cliffs, just look at the sedimentary rocks, whatever. It's so, and then right into the sun, sorry. So interesting to see just the layers and layers of rock. Over there is a good example with the sun shining on it and you can see it really well. just really, really neat landscape that we don't get to see at home. Just the natural shapes and things, like even, I don't know if you can see, I don't know where I'm pointing because the sun is into the screen, but just in there, those weird pillar-like columns of rock are just completely natural. And this is just so fascinating. It's hard, definitely hard to get here unless you come on a dune-buggy or a 4x4. But you know what? You certainly get a reward for it. This is just amazing. I'm so sorry, guys. That was just the coolest place. We were walking in this little canyon, but it was like white and made out of these tiny little layers of this like soft, crumbly stone. It wasn't even really stone. It was like, it's called the Flower Cave. And it's literally like you take a little piece of the stone and it falls apart in your hands. I so wanted to show you, but okay, this is my challenges, still getting used to this whole video thing. Just a little while before we got into that canyon, I ran into another hiker, and so we were chatting along the way as we went, and I didn't want to disturb our sort of walk to stop and do a video. So I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to learn from my mistakes. I'm going to try. But that was really, really cool. And I wish if I had some way to get back there, I would try to get back there just in order to get you some video to show you. So, I don't know, we'll see. Right now, there's a night camp just ahead of me, I think. But I would really like to get to the second one, which is about 1 kilometer further, which is where my water is cached. And that would also be 1 kilometer closer to where I need to get tomorrow. So, I have to see. The sun is literally going behind the mountains as we speak. So, that doesn't mean it's going to get dark right away. Because, oh, and look at that. Just look at that glow on those mountains that I think are the mountains of Jordan. The sun going down behind the mountains of Israel. And I'm going to try to get a better view of those Jordanian mountains for you. Alright, I really need to save battery, but I can't resist. So that's what it looks like on that side, except it doesn't look quite so dark. The mountains don't look quite so dark in reality. They're more kind of gray. And then on the other side, it's reflecting off the mountains. Just beautiful. Wow. Okay, but one more thing. So this is finally the night camp, and I just wanted to show you because it's just a little bit different than back home. Back home, we have some privacy. Here, one of the things that's a little hard getting used to is just the utter and complete lack of privacy. So these boulders that you see, these are kind of the boundaries of where you're allowed to camp and where you're not. So sort of back there is the back boundaries of it somehow. And I really want to try to get to the next night camp. So I'm gonna have to, and I also need to try to save some battery. So I'm gonna have to call it for now, for tonight. That's it. Laila Tov, guys.